Good day, my friends, and welcome to episode 11 of my tutorial playthrough. Today I am going to build the next science array, and I'm going to build the actual laboratory area. So let's get into that. For the gray science packs, which are the new science packs in this series, we're going to need what did I just do there? Oh, everything's fine. We're going to need a very different production setup than before. We're going to need 3 different items compared to the other 2 science packs. That's even more complex. And we're going to need a lot more different resources to do that. So we're needing the bricks as well as the coal. So I already managed to lead the coal over here, but we're going to lead the bricks as well. The other option would be to transfer the walls to the science area, but I feel like transferring the bricks on a belt. More often than not, it's a smart idea to have a brick belt. Well, with this version, it's a little bit more important than ever. A few versions ago, the gray science packs had a little bit of a simpler recipe, where you only needed the red clips and the hand grenades and a gun turret, if I remember correctly. But I mean, well, maybe it's not simpler. Well, the thing with the old recipe was you only needed iron. And now you need also bricks, but I don't want to talk about old things in a tutorial video, so forgive me. Now let's get back and use the pin option of the Helmod, which is a very handy thing to keep things in order. So, wow, I noticed that this doesn't work out at all, so forgive me, friends. I have to take care of this situation. So let's check out if we have all the things we need for the moment. So turns out that I really need to modernize my defenses a little bit. So if this kind of gameplay feels a little bit too stressful for you, you can disable the attack of the biters completely. And there's also a so-called peaceful mode. If you want to have biters, but you don't want them invading your base, then that's your go-to thing. I just added 2 turrets because 1 turret managed to defend this, so I figure 3 turrets should be as well. Alright. So there's oh my god, I forgot to limit that stockpile. Now I have a tiny little amount of oh my god, of steel chests. Okay, well, you probably shouldn't do that if you're doing this on your own. This is not too smart. Okay, so we're going to repair this. And it troubles me a little bit that this wasn't enough. So it seems to me that it's about time to consider the use of walls as well. And also I should consider getting the gray science up and running as quick as possible, because this will add new firepower upgrades and firing speed upgrades as well. Okay, but until then, I just realized that I didn't dismantle the starting base yet. Well, we should do that, but not now. Normally I just do that in between somewhere. And on this run I totally forgot. So I'm going to stock up a little bit on the inserters, and definitely going to grab a few more belts. 43 were definitely not enough. Well, fluid works are not yet a thing. So, glue manufacturing machines. So let's get over to the other department and grab the other ones. I really like to separate logistics from production, but of course you can mix them on your own. Generally on your own, in your own factory, please go crazy. If you find anything here, what I do, like something you don't like, do a different thing. Create your own vision. This game is all about not doing exactly the same thing as a YouTuber you're watching. That's just my opinion. I really think Factorio offers so many different ways to do a thing. That's why I don't use blueprints, because it's just so much fun for me to keep doing new things. So let's see. I need copper, I need steel, I need iron, and the other materials we're going to branch in from the top side. So again, we're going to make ourselves some room here. I really like this setup because it gives me all the materials I need without being too complicated. Like you see, I feel like it's pretty simple to branch off the materials with this kind of belt setup. But that's only because we have this space between the belts there. Okay, enough of my rambling. So where do we start? We have to produce one factory with yellow firearm clips first. So that's the smallest thing to produce. And I'm going to start right there. Let's go like this and check out what kind of inserters they need. I really like the MaxRateCalculator mod so much for that, because determining how many inserters you actually need is a pretty nasty calculation. I mean, it's actually perfectly doable, but see, it works. But I'm not a big fan of dividing and multiplying. Well, the math behind that is not overly complicated, but it's no fun for me anymore. So let's go like this. We're going to supply 3 clip factories with that, and I'm going to need a big bad input of copper plates, but not so much of the other materials. Since steel and yellow clips are having the same amounts, I'm going to mix those belts. So let's power up this little array here so we can do this. So what I'm going to do is simply merge these belts, and voila, I have these 2 ingredients on one belt, and this does exactly what we need. So next up is the production of the red clips. Where do I arrange that up? So I'm going to have another block of 8 assemblers for the hand grenades. And this is going to be a little thing of 4 assemblers total. So I feel like going for a solution like this. It doesn't fit, sadly. Or does it? Or we can do it. We can do it. I see a solution. So I just keep checking those attack warnings, because I want to stay updated where things are happening, you know. So we're going to... No, it doesn't work. It's too narrow there. Just there would be not enough room for both inputs there, sadly. Okay, well then, or maybe no, I don't want to do it like this. Can't we do this? No, that won't work, right? Figured as much. So I'm going to make it like that. There's a simple solution, simpler reason for that. I'm going to explain it in a second there. Once I have cleaned up that mess correctly and I can talk again. Okay, so my idea here is I want to have the copper close to use the blue inserters on the copper and use the red inserters on the other things, because if we look here, I would need two yellow inserters for the input of the copper plates, and this way I can just solve that with one blue inserter. Or let's see. I would have also needed more than one red inserter, and there's the trouble. So I wouldn't have had the room to have I think it would have well, it would have been 2 red and 1 yellow. No. I'm just over optimizing right now. It would have worked otherwise, but well, it looks a little bit more beautiful like this, I think. There we go. So that's that. And this is going to be the first final ingredient for our completed recipe here. So yellow inserters are enough for the output. There we go. So we're going to need these exactly in the same amount like these. So I'm going to put the red clips on the same belt with the grenades. So for the grenades, I'm going to need a lot of coal and iron plates. So we're going to do it like this. I'm going to dedicate 2 entire belts of the materials for that. I'm not going to mix anything here. So here go 8 of those. And I don't have enough iron anymore. It's clearly noticeable that at this point my iron production is getting too low. But I was kind of like expecting that already. So next step will be to lead this stuff like that. And we're going to meet our input line there. So this should end up with hand grenades on the other side of the belts. So I'll have to expand this like that. And here go the hand grenades. I'm outputting with red inserters there on the far away belts. Going to use this. And apart from that, we're using blue inserters on every side. And, well, it's clearly visible that we're going to need more... or wait a sec, I think I do a complete overkill here. At least with the iron plates. Yeah. Not with the coal, though. Okay, let's exchange those. So the incoming amount of iron plates on this side of the array is just no, botched it up. It's not not sufficient here anymore. We're needing way more than we're getting in here. But well, it'll all even out eventually. So let's do it like that. Oh, these blocks are too big. Okay, never mind. I'm going to stick with the small poles there. I feel like if the power poles are looking crappy, there's no use in concealing it anymore. Okay, so, but basically this will just do. And last but not least, we're now needing the walls. This is going to be the simplest part of this equation here. There's just going to live one assembler here, just producing walls. What's that? It's just sitting here and dropping walls. Oh my goodness. So this guy actually wants 7.5 stone bricks per second. So this array is actually quite hungry. And we're needing more than... Okay, I didn't expect that. So since we're needing more than 3 inserters, you can go across the corner just like that. So, well, I have a maximum output here now running. I don't think we're really going to need this, but who knows. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to us not producing enough iron plates anymore, but this will stop at some point. Right now, I'm claiming a lot of iron plates for the production of new assemblers, and once the assemblers are getting done, this array will get fed again as well. No worries. But we can now proceed with the last step of this array, and then we're going to be fine. So we have 10 assembling machines going on here, and well, I don't want to do it like this on this side here. That has a certain reason, but this reason is way off in the future. Yet still, it's already of importance. So I'm going to make clusters of 5. Let's pick up some wood. Check out the combat site. Okay. So definitely going to wall off that area next. So right now I'm just chopping away here to get these trees away. So there are the 10 assemblers we need for the production of the gray science packs. So we're going to belt this stuff over here, and the walls will be joining as well. There we go. The main reason why I don't want to have the gray science on both sides of the belt, because if we arrange or assemblers like this, the gray science packs will all end up on the lower half of the belt, just like here. But some far away day, I want to put another color of science packs on the other side of the belt. And that's why I'm doing it like this, because I have no interest at all in separating the science packs in the faraway future for no reason at all. I kind of avoid that already, because there is no real downside for having them divided like that, because at no point you're going to need such tremendous amounts of science packs on one side of the belt that this will really become a downside. Like, no. If this all sounds super complicated right now, you can just turn off your brain if you want to, and wait a few episodes down the road. I'm going to illustrate it with some examples, what I was talking about. But I think it's quite understandable. I just try to keep in mind that when I was starting out with Factorio, the game confused me crazily. So I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. So here we go. The only thing we're now not having, of course, are the hand grenades, because these are... We're just not getting enough iron plates into the system there. and that's why right now we're not ready yet. So I'm going to grab some new belts from the mall, or like other famous YouTubers like to call it, the hub. Well, you can call the area where you produce all that stuff whatever you want, but I strongly recommend building specialized areas of production in your facility. This is really a very helpful strategy to keep things in order to some degree, because this game can get very messy very quickly, especially if you start modding it. When you start modding it, you invited the diversity into the game, and then things get really more complicated in a good way. Now then, everything is set up for the science, so I'm going to walk in circles, because I just forgot that I wanted to dislodge the old laboratories over at the starter base, because well, I don't need them there anymore, and there are 8 of them. So I'm going to set up a very simple yet effective science system. It's nothing too special, but it accommodates a wide amount of science colors. So we're going to dismantle this in the future, but right now I'm too lazy. I don't want to waste too much of our time with that, but grabbing a few laboratories felt like a good thing to do. So let's head over to the other place and grab the laboratories. So we're now operating, once we have the materials up and running, with 90 science packs per minute. So if you're asking yourself how many laboratories you should put there, it's a tough question, because science does not have always the same cost and time ratios. So I really appreciate that the developers brought up this idea. This wasn't like it years before. When I started with Factorio, these ratios were not like there, but I like it, because this means there is no perfect solution. Like, it's always just the bigger the better, but well, we're going to run with 18 for the moment. So as we're now speaking, not a single hand grenade has left the belts here, which I think is quite tragic, but they can't pass the ammo. Okay, it's just like it is, but it doesn't stop me from building the laboratory anyways. So we're going to fetch or red and green science here, and I'm going to use a red one here, but as we see, it's not entirely enough, so I'm going to help myself here a little bit, and we're going to make it like that. The red ones are having a longer reach, as you might have noticed here already. So the laboratories will live in this area. Okay. So how am I going to arrange them? I think I'm going to go for the straight line here. So this is one setup I really do like. Whoa, 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 what's happening here? Okay. Nasty. Okay, but they survive. Back to the laboratories. It's a very, very simple thing. We're going to get here, and I'm going to drop 2 on each side, and there will be 2 belts, and there will be now 2 more. And this just goes on and on. This is a very nice way of supporting up to 6 different colors of science into your factory. I like this setup because it's very simple, yet very effective. So there we go. This is going to be the red and the green, and this is going to be the gray and the other color that follows after. So now we just have to belt this stuff over there. So as you might already have figured, the next episode we're going to expand the ore production, and I'm going to talk a lot about building new outposts and stuff like that. Looking forward to that. I really like to build mining outposts and stuff like that. It's really fun for me. I like claiming new resources. It always kind of like makes me happy. So turns out I used the gap here between the belts, and well, why not? If you have it, use it. So let's get there. We're going to need on every laboratory 1 red inserter and 1 yellow inserter, of course. So the red inserters grab from the faraway belts, and the yellow inserters grab from the near belts. That's a very, very easy, understandable thing. And the only drawback of this arrangement is that it takes up a lot of space, because you can only arrange it linearly, because the other colors will be running around later on like this. And then the laboratories will grab the other colors from the opposite side. So this doesn't leave up too many variations in directions or such. I mean, you can go a curve or if you want to, but well, it is quite limited. Yet if you have the room to pull it off, I think it's I like it, and that's why I feature it. Okay, and another thing I like to use is the downward reaching of the science packs. So this way, if there's ever a shortage of science packs, they're going to be distributed among each other towards the last of them. You don't need to do that, though. It works perfectly fine if you don't do that, but this way they'll always make sure that whatever comes here fills up the queue. I mean, that's I don't think that's really useful, but I like to do that. So that's that. As you see, that's just one possible arrangement of your science, of course. You can do a lot of different things. I am pretty sure that you might already have 1 or 2 things on your mind you would do differently. I hope so, at least, or just like what I did there, and you just use it on your own. I would appreciate that as well. Whatever might be the case, we're reaching the end of this episode. So like I mentioned, next episode we're going to dive deeper into the ore production, and there's going to be a lot of logistics next episode, so because we have to expend or supplies. This is just not enough anymore. But this was quite predictable. Anyways, if there are any questions open now, feel free to ask them in the comments down below. This laboratory is now up and running as soon as we have enough metal iron plates available. Also, feel free to drop me a like on this video series if you want to convince YouTube that this series is worth watching. It helps a lot. And also subscribe this channel if you want to make this community grow and make me happy as well. Whatever might be the case, I hope you're enjoying Factorio, and watch the next episode as well when we're going to claim new patches of ore. See you guys next time. Goodbye.